Hello everyone, it's Den Weird and I'm back. Now there's been a bit of a dilemma with this video. I've lost the audio that I originally recorded for it. So this time the format will be slightly different. I'm going to be talking over it, kind of filibustering for a while. Is that the right word? Filibustering? Filibustering. Basically just filling in the massive, I think about 70-minute gap. So in theory, I did wonder how to approach this. Like, do I sort of do the video and act like I'm playing it and do it that way, which I think is a bit rough, to be honest. So I thought I'd just be honest and basically waffle over the footage for a bit. I mean, it's probably given the most my voice you'll hear during the Let's Play of this particular game, because it does require so much concentration to sort of fly the havoc around and basically do the missions correctly. So, just for this video, maybe one later on, we'll get to that, but mostly just this video, I'm just gonna waffle on a bit, basically. I mean, what do we waffle on about? I mean, I suppose we'll start off with a boring YouTube politics angle, I guess. I mentioned that my channel actually got taken down a few hours ago due to inappropriate material. I was like, what? What are you on about? So I looked into it, and it was one of my. If you notice on my shorts, there's like a there's a bunch of like music videos I made with original songs. I say original songs; they're basically just weird noise, basically. But to the music, I put like lots of weird random images, and they managed to pull up this image. I think it's what they were complaining about. There's basically an image of a naked alien bent over in a compromised position, but it's for a split second, and it's like, really? That's too much? That's too extreme these days? So initially they said we've removed it and you've got a warning. I was like, okay, fair enough, whatever, I'll re-upload an edited version of it. And then they just blocked it, shut my channel down. They just disappeared. They went, we've shut it down because you have got other content like this. And it seems you're like implying that I've just been bombarding it, the website with pornography. And I'm like, I really haven't. I'm like, and they didn't actually pull up any other case or any other videos that seemed to have this. So I was like, okay, I basically appealed it and said, like, okay, I think I know what's happened. Because this image of an alien, to be fair, was on another video that was, I cropped the image so you just see its face. Bloody hell. That sounded quite severe. It was happening to the co-pilot there. Anyway, sorry. I'm actually getting distracted by the game now. I probably could have winged it, but anyway, where was I? Yeah. So anyway, they were implying that I put up all this like vast pornography content, and I'm like, look, I'm thinking, what? I couldn't look and see what it was, and they wouldn't tell me what it was. I basically just said, like, I think I know what's happened. Oh yeah, it was the alien, wasn't it? The alien was in another video, but it was cropped, and in this one it wasn't cropped. And I said, like, I think what might have happened is there's a bunch of, like, random images from film posters and stuff amongst them. And the only one I could think of that had anything that had any type of nudity was a poster for Zombie Lake. and it has like a naked woman, but it's like a drawing, and it's quite in the distance. But I said that I think you've kind of conflated some very minor things and got a bit carried away, shutting my channel down. And literally the minute I sent it off, like 2 minutes later, the channel was back. So they must have known they were wrong. I think it might have been. I think it was the AI overlord that, you know, the feudal AI master that demanded a sacrifice, and I didn't, it fell flat on its face the minute I worded not even an argument, just sort of said, what's the beef here? So I got my channel back. I went back in, removed the other video of the literal nanosecond of cartoon nudity from a film poster, for Christ's sake, and I just basically I think I blurred it out on one of them, and on another one I replaced the alien with Michael Burnham from Star Trek Discovery crying, which was, I think, fair enough. The thing is that, YouTube has its over-the-top policies that they sort of change constantly, and then leave it up to AI to kind of figure it out.
All targets destroyed. Keep it up.
So I'm not a big fan of that, and this is at this point anyway. This is a very, very early channel. This isn't anything massive. I've put a lot of time into it, editing these videos together and stuff, and making all these shorts and trying to, keep the momentum going by having a short that uploads every single day. Having like let's play videos every Thursday at least, if not long plays, or both, But yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but it's back. We're here. We're all good. All two of you watching. Need not worry. I do have a backup channel, but I didn't actually. It takes so long to upload some of this stuff. Not all of it was actually backed up, and some of it is kind of stuck on YouTube. There we go. Mission accomplished. I'll be quiet for the debriefing. I'll honour that, at least. And it gives me a really long loading screen. I could have filibustered that for at least 5 seconds then. How we do? Enemy 17, no civilians killed. Hit ratio 34. Not great. Okay, secondary objectives completed. Yeah, quite a few, to be fair.
President Argenta has asked that you be thanked for providing such an effective escort. As you are aware, your presence was certainly needed. This situation appears to be escalating, and we are not yet able to provide an adequate explanation. The President insists she has no idea why she has been targeted, and neither, it must be said, do we. The terrorists would not seem to gain by her assassination. She also steadfastly denies any suggestion of inappropriate behavior on the part of her company. We've got to keep a lid on this if we can. Do your best out there.
Okay. I don't know what with that then. The audio on these headphones is popping throughout. Oh, hang on, urgent. What's going on? To Lieutenant Slayer, GB from Captain Horton, RA time. 2097. Message follows. In the interest of security and unit morale, the following bulletin will be released today at 2100 hours. It is with great regret that I have to inform you of the death of one of our finest pilots. First Lieutenant Hiroshi Takegawa. Takegawa was on a routine mission escorting Karachov President Natalie Argenta when the convoy was attacked by multiple unidentified hostile tachyons, whatever it says, craft. Eventually succumbed to enemy fire. It defended Argenta against overwhelming odds. His selfless regard action allowed his wingman Slayer to rear guard. Sorry, it's that font. I complain about that when I play it live. Clearly I was reading it a lot slower when on the actual video. Successfully cover the president's retreat to a place of safety. Takegawa was a gallant and dedicated officer. He will be greatly missed. Captain R.A. Horton, DC, 22nd Wing, Callisto. Any contradiction by you of the evidence described? Above will result in summary execution under Section 8 of the Earth and Colonies Martial Law Act 2089. This is a direct order. No further warning will be issued. Message ends. Yeah, because a lot of dramatic stuff happened just then while I was mourning about YouTube. Yeah, his Havoc malfunctioned, didn't it? And they claim
morale was
it was something else. So anyway, here it is. The plot.
Talking about Tachikawa's death. Tachikawa used to fly his Havoc like he'd been born in it, they said, and no one could believe he was gone. The rescue squads had picked up the wreckage, but his body had just vanished. Reese, the flight software technician, was checking it out. As I listened, it slowly became clear that Daniels and Ricardo had been Elaine's closest friends. Her death had hit them hard. They gave me the story. Seemed her comms link had gone down during a routine patrol. She'd just lost it and piled into an antenna mast. Made no attempt to avoid it. I felt uneasy. This all sounded too close to the way Tachikawa had bought it for it to be just coincidence. I needed time to think. So I made my excuses and left. It had been a bad day, but at least we had saved Krakow's president. If she'd been greased, all hell could have broken loose.
Yeah, it's a shame that I lost the audio for this, because this bit I was actually quite efficient at playing it. And I think I actually had a lot to say that was more kind of engaging with what was on screen, but it's kind of hard to go back, kind of fake recreate that. So I thought, let's just do it, do it this way. Obviously, I take a while to save and stuff here, so yeah. But I'll have to be quiet again during the briefing, won't I? I'm not skilled enough to edit down this footage, as well as sync up the audio after when it hasn't already been pre-synced up. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Probably not. But here we go. Mission 6, I think it's about to be. Mission 6. Come on, Den, you can do it. Press continue. I'm sure I was going on about something really clever and insightful during this point, but I don't know what it was.
The automated weapons we recovered after the attack on Argenta are a new development, possibly off-world in origin. We have nothing conclusive, but Krakow's past expertise in this field certainly implicates them. However, the attacks on the Krakow president, Argenta, leads me to believe that this may not be the whole picture. Argenta has alluded to Nanosoft involvement in the attacks, but as yet has refused to say any more. Tech Lab's findings are inconclusive. They say the prototype software controlling the weapons used in the attack on her is years ahead of anything on the market. It could be the work of a number of corporations, including Nanosoft. As a result of these attacks, Krakow have requested GP cover for their president and their industrial sites, and also want us to lean on Nanosoft. We'll go along with the first request, but Nanosoft have given us no reason to investigate them further. Stay alert out there. It's up to us to contain this situation. Any further escalation could turn Callisto into a war zone. Mission briefings are at 0430 hours tomorrow. Dismissed.
A group of Krakow B-12 mining droids have reportedly malfunctioned and are dangerously out of control. They are fitted with powerful industrial lasers, which are destroying everything within range. Krakow claim they are unable to control the robots, so it's down to us to stop them. Please be aware of the droid's laser, as it will inflict severe damage on a Havoc. Locate the droids, disable the laser, and then attempt to immobilize them. Time is of the essence, as the reported damage is rapidly increasing.
It sure is. But yeah, yeah, I was really annoyed when the audio, I couldn't find it. I don't know what had happened. I was going through all the files and it was just missing. I think I know what might have happened. When I turn off, when I do a recording on my tablet, for some weird reason, when you rename it, it crashes for some strange reason. But I think it was something in that process that made it vanish. Because I'm pretty sure I would have pressed record and not just sat here not recording it while I, that invested. I forgot to record it, but record the video. This is still earlier on in the game when I'm using this third person. This third person perspective. I think at some point, possibly in the next video, I revert to first person because it is actually easier to aim a little bit. Oh god, yeah, they're beasts, aren't they? Fucking hell. Yeah, I think this kill. I remember this actually. These, yeah, that just wipes me out on my first attempt. Yeah, I'm still learning the ropes. To be fair, I feel like I'm always learning the ropes on this game. The difficulty will spike very randomly, and there'll often be bits that just don't make any sense. There's a bit later on. I think it's mission far later than this. I think it's mission 30. No. Is it mission 30 or 20? No, I can't remember what it is, but there's a mission where you have to fly around and scan things, but without them scanning you. And the logic of the enemy's line of sight makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. I don't know if it's this emulated version on the PS5 is glitchy or something, but it was literally impossible. I watched videos, I tried to copy videos, how they did it, and it just would not do it. What I was forced into doing, unfortunately, I'm ashamed to admit, but I had to basically save scum it, scan one thing, and then if they detected me, just rewind it basically. And I'll put that on in that context. I'll show it and I'll explain it again because you got that to look forward to. But that'll be a really it's actually a short mission, but I was on it for like hours because it just didn't seem to meet me halfway, no matter what. So yeah, but I do like this game. This game is really good. I think it has definitely its jank for its time, and I think it is probably likely a better game to play on PC because the draw distance is much better. But it is generally quite an impressive game for the time. And the cinematics are quite good. Like earlier, I'll look it up now. We'll talk about that for a bit because I was looking up on IMDb the voice actors. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you what the actors did the voices to. But that's a bit annoying. But like one actor was called Nicole Aramagam. And they were in lots of British TV, actually. Suspicion, Casualty, Emmerdale Farm. Who were they in Emmerdale Farm? They were Rita Silver, whoever that is, in Emmerdale Farm. I haven't watched Emmerdale in years. Hornby City, there were Amy Sterling. Lots of, like... Lots of roles where they're in like one episode of a soap. I don't know, Doctors, 70 episodes of Doctors as Callie Hamanda. And, well, Dr. Callie Hamanda. Yeah, G-Police, just as voice for G-Police. They were Shelley in Emmerdale in 1992 to 94. I can't think who that is. I was possibly passively watching it then as well. I do remember watching, for a phase of watching British soaps back in the day. There's always like a point where it kind of... where they stopped being good. I know they're kind of not good to begin with, but they had something about them, some of them. I think Emmerdale was actually really good in the 90s. Back when it had like when the Dingles were doing shenanigans. There's even an episode, and I actually saw it recently because they were repeating them on ITV2, ITV3, where they were repeating the old songs. I used to say to people, there's a section of Emmerdale where the Dingles and Barry are trying to build a spaceship. They're trying to build a space shuttle in a farm. In a farmhouse, should I say. And they put Butch like in this like in this water to get him used to zero gravity. I used to explain this to people, and they'd be like, "Fuck off! You're making that up." And when they started repeating them, I was like, "Hang on, this is looking familiar. Here it is." And me and my girlfriend were watching it. It goes, "Watch! I promise you, they tried to build a spaceship, and it happened. It was the section where it. I remember it. I remembered it a bit differently. I remembered it being like for a period of time, it became like the Dingle show, where it was like them for like weeks just doing this. But it probably just seemed longer at the time because it's you catch it every other day, like every day or whatever. Was it like Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays or something? But yeah, nonetheless, we saw it. It was there. It was only like over the space of like 3 episodes. So it wasn't this as drawn out thing as I remember.
Copy, Control.
But it's a weird moment. But I remember as a kid, I was quite young in the 90s. I did start watching it around then and was quite into the Dingles getting up to mischief every week or whatever. I think as it went on with Emmerdale, it kind of went down this weird thing where it kind of took itself too serious. Like the Dingles became, they just sort of became nothing characters. It just felt very passive. It felt like they kind of ran out of tricks for them. And they kind of stopped being a bit dodgy and funny and became, I don't know, it felt like they always became perpetual victims all the time. I think it probably went downhill a bit for the Dingles once they brought Debbie into it. Debbie Dingle with a mardy face, always going on about not being paid child support or something, you know. It was always just like really such a boring character. Of course, it was like there was some interest, like Eli Dingle, who I believe that actor's always in like Shane Meadows films now. I forget the actor's name. He's got a right, like, you know, he's proper northerner. He was really good, but I think he just abruptly left the show. He had a falling out with them, and I think the producers were like, "You'll never work in this town again." And he ended up being in like a bunch of Shane Meadows films, like This Is England, and he was in Dead Man's Shoes as well. I just can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but he was in Dead Man's Shoes. They cut his scene out, but yeah, I think being sacked from Emmerdale was the best thing for him, to be honest. He still continues to work now. Anyway, we got sidetracked talking about Emmerdale. That's in theme with this game, isn't it? I'm sure the American audience out there are really riveted that we're talking about Emmerdale. Yeah, so another actor who was in it was William DeFries. That's actually a name that sounds familiar. He's no longer with us. He voiced a Judge Dredd video where he was Judge Caligula. Okay, I'm not that familiar with that character, but it seemed to be a lot of narrations for like kind of audio books. By the looks of it, we had some voice actor dubbing. He dubbed some anime. Dubbed Space Adventure Cobra. He was Cobra in the English. Okay, Cobra in the English dubbing of Space Adventure Cobra. Is it Appleseed? There's a SWAT. Is Appleseed the one with the? I know what Appleseed is. Yeah, like a SWAT team in the future. Actually, kind of in keeping with the vibe of this game. There's one that's like a full-on robot, I think. He also did Pat Labor 2, the movie, Classmate, Editor, and Fuzzy Ball, and JGSD. That's a lot of voices there, to be honest. Yeah, lots of story. Oh, he did Bob the Builder, Yes We Can. So he did the voice of Bob, but I thought Bob was Neil Morrissey. Unless this was like for a different... Maybe he took over as Bob the Builder, I don't know. I was going to be Neil Morrissey from Men Behaving Badly. See, after G-Police, he did Colony Wars. That's quite in keeping. it says who he did here. He said, "Oh no, that's him. That's yeah." It just says Bill. It just says voice as Bill DeFreeze.
Right outside our base. Over.
Oh, he did Tank Police, New Dominion Tank Police. I've seen that.
Control to Alpha
The English dub on that isn't too bad
Attention
either.
on us. Get back here. Over.
I usually favour the original Japanese, but there are a few exceptions. Oh, he's Lupin the Third. Fucking hell, yeah. Busy man. R.I.P. William DeFreeze. Yeah, I usually like stuff in Japanese, but the English dub for if you ever see Audio Cyber City, the English dub and the English soundtrack is actually a lot better, I think. No, I don't quote me on this, but I'm sure I heard the Japanese director of it claimed that the Japanese dub was a bit rushed and everyone sounds a bit monotone and all the characters kind of sound the same, whereas in the English dub you could differentiate the characters better. They all sounded like how they looked, and even if he didn't say that, he probably should, because it's true. Audio Cyber City, yeah. I haven't seen that in a while, actually, that one. That's a pretty good, like, one-off kind of OVA anime. It's only like 3 chapters or 3 half-an-hour episodes, whatever you want to call it, but it's basically... I can't even keep in with this, but it's kind of in this kind of futuristic Blade Runner sort of setting. It's about these 3 convicts that basically can work off the years on their sentence if they become bounty hunters, and of course they'll have connections with the underworld, being cons, so they kind of essentially are forced into sort of busting their own kind to knock years off their sentence. But I think the sort of gimmick is their sentences are like 1,000 years or something stupid like that, and they'll do like a really grueling bounty, nearly get killed or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a year and a half knocked off your sentence." But there was like a middle character who looks like the middle character in Get a Robo G or Get a Robo. I forget, is it Ryu? But yeah, basically looks like him, and then there's like a skinhead guy with like Geordie of Star Trek visors, and he's like the hard nut one. You know, I always remember seeing it. It was quite young when I saw it, but there's a bit where he has to his visor glitches, and he has to take out this like robot, and in a fit of rage, he kind of punches this robot into pieces. It's epic. Hope I'm remembering that right. It's been a while since I've seen it. And the other convicts... Sorry, that's my heater making that buzzing noise. It will do that sometimes. It's a paraffin heater, you see. But yeah, the other one was like this sort of... I guess sort of androgynous David Bowie type. And there was a famous meme based off it. I can't even remember the content. I think they're hunting this gang members called vampires or something. And he says like he says she wouldn't know a vampire if it bit her on the dick, and that became like a meme to is it Stephanie Myers? He did Twilight. People said this is what we think of Stephanie Myers. It's show that clip. But yeah, I probably shouldn't use language like that because YouTube will shut my account down, apparently. But yeah, Audio Cyber City. I'm talking about it now. I'm gonna buy that. I heard it did come out on Blu-ray with the option for the English. I think it's specifically the UK English dub. Because back then, a lot of the dubs were actually done for manga entertainment. A lot of the dubs were usually done in England. Guyver as well. I think that was recorded. The voice actors were all kind of English doing American accents. Golgor 13 as well. That animated film is ridiculous. I love it, but the English dub's okay on that. But I remember being a bit annoyed when I got the DVD of it, thinking, "Oh, it says it had the Japanese dub, and it does, but the subtitles are dub titles." And the English dub took so many liberties with the original script that the timing of them doesn't even match up. They also added like a lot of weird, I guess, superfluous audio that was never meant to be there. Like, there's a bit where Golgor's like aiming a rifle, and he's about to shoot, but he's got his voice going, "Okay, I'm going to take fire in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1." You know, so why would he be saying that? What, seriously, an assassin saying that out loud? But nonetheless, it was a fun dub, and it is a bonkers film, so I can kind of see why they went that way with it. Anyway, I accomplished the mission, so I'll be quiet during the debriefing. I'll get back to my ramblings shortly, don't worry. Primary objectives complete. Destroy robots attacking civilians in Nardome. Destroy robot in Lorny Dome. Destroy robots in outside GPHQ. Primary objectives failed, none. Apparently. Secondary objectives completed. Minimal civilian damage in Ardor. We failed. Minimal damage to nanosoft compound. All GP fighters survive. Well, can't win them all.
Krakow are adamant that they are not to blame for this situation. Thankfully, fatalities were restricted, and Krakow have offered to pay for structural damage caused by the droids. They will also award damages to any families suffering losses. They are reported to be launching a full investigation into the event.
Well, there you go. I wonder if we get an FMV. I don't know if we. I think you kind of roughly get an FMV kind of a lot at the start, and then it's usually roughly like every 5 missions, 4 or 5 missions on average. It's not completely strict, but it seems like every 5th mission is a bit of a set piece. There we go, doing another save here. Do we get back into it? We do.
A virus has escaped from Nanosoft's virtual lab and downloaded itself into a number of Krakow craft. It appears to be shutting down their essential navigation systems, resulting in craft which veer wildly out of control. You will need to disable these craft to protect their occupants. Patrols have reported the presence of gang craft in the same area. This is exacerbating the situation as they are opening fire on civilians. Order must be re-established as soon as possible.
But yeah, I think these earphones keep sort of cutting out, so it actually distracts me a little bit just listening to parts of it. But the audio's a bit ropey on this emulated version anyway. You probably noticed here and there. Of course, it probably doesn't help that like I've had to mute some of the music because I keep getting flagged for copyright.
Krakow craft confirmed ahead.
You can do that thing where it removes the music but keeps every other audio effect in, but then it distorts everything. It sounds a bit like it's underwater. And I think you may have noticed in the previous video, there's actually quite long sections where there's no audio whatsoever. That wasn't by choice. That was basically, I think if the music tracks are kind of so long, it won't mute them out. It'll only mute them out if they're like in shorter bursts.
Unidentified craft in your vicinity.
So what I did do in some of the later videos is, while playing it, I kept moving the volume
Into civilian
up and down. They're ploughing into civilian buildings.
Down. You can't afford to lose any more.
Mission failed. That went well. But yeah, so I ended up moving the volume up and down and making it really quiet in places, on and off, so that the music isn't consistently playing. So that if they do try and copyright flag it,
Krakow craft
it will at
confirmed
least let
ahead.
me mute
Disable them before they
that via the YouTube editor. Rather than me having to go, find all the material and re-edit it down again, do all that. Initially it said it was on the behalf of copyright strikes are on the behalf of the composer, apparently, and I disputed one of them. They said, yeah, it's fine, they weren't bothered, but now they're getting flagged up by a company called Hawk or something, which I'm guessing is some middleman company or some AI company. It just flags up anything it spots. I say I try and comply with it as best I can without it completely just destroying the video and making it a silent bit of footage for hours on end. But I think the previous video, the part 1, is the one that suffered the most, because that's before I figured out putting the volume up and down randomly. So obviously you probably come from that, but if you've jumped in at this point and you decide to go back and watch them, just be aware there are like literally 5-minute sections where there's no noise, not even me talking. It's a bit annoying, but I wasn't really expecting this game to be a huge hitter. Yeah, like my Resident Evil ones seem to do okay. I mean, I say okay, I'm hitting like hundreds rather than thousands, but it's a new channel. But the to be fair, I think the G-Police one, part 1, I think I had like a good 20 odd views in the first few hours, so it did better than the training video.
You can't afford to lose any more.
I mean, I will get back to doing Resident Evils and stuff. In fact, I'm sort of aiming to do Code Veronica soon. But I thought, it's just change it up a bit so it doesn't just look like the channel is like a Resident Evil channel. Of course, I put Elevator Action up as well, which is that was a good game. Or Elevator Action Returns, should I say? So I don't know how this one will perform. I mean, I think with a lot of them videos, it's diminishing returns, isn't it? No one's going to jump in at part 2 if they didn't jump in at 1. So if hardly anyone watches the first 2, no one's going to watch this one. I'm just talking into a void. But it's all good protein. We'll look up another actor, shall we? Bradley Lavelli. That actually sounds familiar, that name. Bradley Lavelli. Lavelli or Lavelle? whenever it loads up. There we go. He's no longer with us as well. Died in 2007, 48. That's quite young. In Toronto. Oh, he was in Superman 4. He played Tall Marshall in Chain Gang. Okay. Well, that's a credit, isn't it? X3. Oh, he was in Perfect Dark Zero. Additional voices. Battle Engine Aquila. That's just says voice on that one. That's on PlayStation Plus. That game. I've actually got it. I downloaded it. I've not played it, but it looks kind of like one of these sort of games, really. But probably has a better draw distance. Using Team Buddies. Fucking hell. Who remembers Team Buddies? It's kind of best way to describe Team Buddies was it was a bit like Bomberman, kind of, but the little men kept swearing. So it looks like a kid's game, but it was like an 18 when it came out. And they all talk like, I think they all sort of talk like Cockneys, going, "You bloody cunt, I'll kill ya." Stuff like that. It was fun. I think it's quite a rare, expensive game nowadays. It's annoying because I used to have it years ago, but yeah, you'd spend a few hundred on it now. I was in Urban Chaos. He did the voice for Tanner in the original Driver. He was in Judge Dredd as Chief Judge Hunter. There we go. Space Precinct, Zalvin Zan, Lovejoy, Mr. Banner. Bloody hell, he was quite prolific. I wonder if he was one of those actors who were like Canadian, but had, you know, Canadian accents sound American, don't they? And then they get a job in England and they're like the sort of go-to American actors. Bergerac. Piglet Files, never heard of that one, but it's got Rodney from Only Fools and Horses in it. He was in Nightbreed. He was Cormac. Which one was Cormac in Nightbreed? Sorry, oh, stop it. I just need to check who Cormac was in Nightbreed. Cormac in Nightbreed. Not the name. Sorry, it's checking up the name. Cormac in Nightbreed. Yeah, but let's see an image. It's not pulling up, it's just pulling up random Nightbreed characters. Yeah, sorry, I genuinely don't know who Cormac is in the Nightbreed off the top of my head. Nightbreed's a weird film. I remember seeing it as a kid and thought it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I think every time I've watched it since, it hasn't quite lived up to that. I've always kind of been chasing that initial rush I got from it as a kid. And I remember when I saw it like years later, that felt like a really weird, uneven film. And then I heard there was a director's cut that was lost. And I thought, we'll never see that. And then it emerged. The director's cut finally emerged. And I saw it. And I actually thought it was an even more disjointed film in its director's cut form. It's probably unpopular. I know a lot of people really love that director's cut, but no. Most of the stuff they added wasn't really necessary.
Alpha Wing, destroy enemy ground units.
The ending I thought was much worse. I thought Decker was a far more worthy adversary to be a setup for an X film. Not the priest Ashbury, who had literally no development. It's like he's now Comic Priest. He turns evil. Now he's the final boss. It didn't make any sense, and I actually did, in that case, have a bit of sympathy for the studio when they re-edited it. And I think, I hate to say it, I hate to side with the studio, especially over Clive. Clive Barker's a genius, but I think their choices were correct to beef up Decker and remove some of the wonkiness. I mean, I think it was probably unnecessary to redub Doug Bradley. A few things like that, but for the most part, genuinely, I thought the theatrical cut was better. I did hear that that there was a version of it that's like an even longer version, that some of the footage Clive Barker wanted to put back in that director's cut, but it was in such a poor state, it wasn't worth putting back in a HD print of the film. But if you watch like the rough cut, the Cabal cut, or whatever, you can see all that. I've never actually watched that. Doesn't make me wonder if that would fulfill the definitive version of that film for me. It's a bit like Caligula or something, isn't it? There's always this sort of like, oh, there's a better cut of it, there's another cut of it, and they keep releasing these different cuts, and what you end up with is a bunch of imperfect cuts that maybe if you fan edited it yourself you'd be satisfied with, possibly. Or maybe it's just like every cut is going to be flawed in some way, but there's some sort of concept that brings you back to it. You know, it's a flawed sort of film. That's not to say I don't enjoy Nightbreed. I do go back to it sometimes. I do get into it. The battle at the end is a lot of fun. I just think for me the film's really uneven. It goes through a lot of time introducing, bringing Boone into the Nightbreed society, and then they literally just throw him out because his girlfriend arrives, and then they sort of mention he's part of this prophecy, but they knew about this prophecy, so why are they throwing him out because his girlfriend showed up? It's odd. It's a very oddly structured film, and the director's cut didn't fix any of that weirdness. They kind of just doubled down on it.
Control to Alpha Wing. Mission
Unfortunately.
over.
Mission complete. There we go. I was actually dreading doing this video because I was like, I didn't know what I was going to say, and to be fair, what I'm saying isn't necessarily relevant that much to what's going on screen. But I think I'm filling in the gaps by rambling nonsense. It's easier to do so without having to play the game. Let's see what the stats were. Enemies killed 16, no civilians killed, hit ratio 29. Yeah, well, obviously it won't let you do it until you've beat the primaries, so we did all them. Was there any secondaries? We did. All shuttles survived. Yeah, I never passed them where everyone has to survive. Very rarely happens.
Nanosoft are in the process of taking remedial action to rectify damage caused. The virus has been contained, and there are no further reports of navigational malfunction. The corporation appears to be taking the situation seriously, as they have launched a full investigation into the affair. The results will of course be monitored, but we are satisfied with their attempts to minimize the effects of this error.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think this video ends soon, but there's another 15 minutes in a separate video that comes up shortly, so I'll still be here waffling for a little while.
A terrorist cell has seized the Krakow assembly yard, which is now being rigged with explosives. If the cell members are not eliminated, they will destroy the entire yard. They seem to be using the numerous types of heavy plant machinery as cover. You will need to root them out by using yourself as a target. This should force them to reveal themselves. Disable all hostiles as soon as possible.
I'm not sure which mission it is. There is like a mission. It is this one. Okay, yeah. The next video. What fun you have in front of you. The next video is me like stuck on this damn mission for like over an hour. I do streamline it down and keep some of the outtakes in, but fucking hell. Yeah, this is probably the one I get stuck on the most, I think. I think it's this one. It's either this or the next one anyway. But yeah, so what we were on about voice actors, yeah. Went sidetracked about Nightbreed. Laurel Lefko. She sounds familiar. She was in Black Mirror. Who was she in Black Mirror? What episode was it? Dr. Atkinson. That could be anyone in Black Mirror, to be fair, couldn't it? Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Jurassic World Evolution 2. Layers of Fear 2. The Crew 2. Jurassic World Evolution. Xenoblade 2. I've not played any of them games. I've heard they're good though. Fatal Frame. Maiden of the Black Water. It's black voice cropped off the full title. Oh, she's in Driver San Francisco. She just does additional voices in that, but I really liked Driver San Francisco. It unfortunately didn't do that well, but I actually thought they did something quite interesting with the format. Better than just kind of doing a GTA clone or whatever. I will say that with Driver, it did differentiate itself from GTA quite a bit, actually. Oh, she did a voice in Mr. Mosquito. Additional English voices. The Italian Job game. That's the one with... because it doesn't have... I think it's the one where it doesn't have Michael Caine do Michael Caine's voice, but it's an impersonator. And it's the guy who played Michael Caine in Stella Street. If anyone knows what I'm talking about with Stella Street. Stella Street was like a sitcom, British sitcom, where it's set on the Stella Street, and everyone who lives there, with the exception of the cleaner, is like a celebrity, and it's usually like, I think it's like 3 different actors doing the same impressions for all of them. And the kind of main one is Michael Caine, the main actor who does Michael Caine's voice in the Italian Job game. It's him, basically. There's an episode of that where Jimmy Hill goes around Joe Pesci's house for dinner, but Joe Pesci's been lobotomised because he's too violent, and he kind of reverts to being like this, right, like a child, and it's like Joe Pesci and Jimmy Hill talking about like their talking about their troubled childhoods together. And at the end, like Joe Pesci snaps out of it, and Jimmy Hill's like hugging him, going, "Daddy." He goes, "You motherfucker, you motherfucker, you!" He just kicks his head in. Brilliant. Oh, Stella Street. Okay, I haven't seen that in years. Certain things I just remember about it though. Oh, she was anyway. Yeah, back to she was Vivian in the game Silver. Silver was a good RPG. Came out on the Saturn and PC. Very sort of like Final Fantasy VII, or maybe Final Fantasy VIII-esque sort of graphics. But yeah, of course, the voice actor I know is Mac McDonald. I don't know him personally, but I know him from... He was in Nightbreed as well, actually. He was someone who got killed in Nightbreed. And he was famously Captain Hollister in Red Dwarf. And he's basically in Alien 2 or Aliens as basically Captain Hollister. It's hilarious. You watch it, you're like, oh, it's Captain Hollister from Red Dwarf. But he's only in the special edition cut, which, to be fair, is more common than the theatrical cut, you tend to find. Yeah, Mac McDonald. He's been around. I mean, he was in Batman, Terminator Resistance as well. Yeah, Red Dwarf, Alien Isolation. He has weird connections to Alien and James Cameron quite a bit, actually. Oh, I see. Time Splitters, Future Perfect, Second Sight. He was in Black Books, I remember. He was the American war enthusiast. Gets all stroppy when they show like history books, and he's like, "No, I want Tom Clancy. I want tanks." But yeah, Matt McDonald. Yeah, he was in Fifth Element. Yeah, loads of stuff. Whenever he's one of them actors, he turns up in something, and you're kind of always glad to see him. It's like, oh, there he is. But he was very much one of those go-to Americans living in England actors. Usually when he shows up in something, you're like, ah, this was filmed in England, or at least this bit was. Another voice actor in this was Colin McFarlane, who, he does look familiar. He's in Father Brown, Fireman Sam, Final Fantasy 16, The Larkins, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, a lot of these voice actors do seem to meet in the same circles. He was the Cube voice in the game show The Cube. Okay. I never really watched The Cube. I've seen it, but yeah, his voice is actually quite distinctive. Outlander as Ulysses. Okay. I don't think I got that far in Outlander. Maybe I did. I don't know. I didn't see it all the way through. Apologies for the noise outside. It's a Friday, so everyone's out. Everyone's out having fun. But we don't need to be out having fun. We're having fun here, talking about voice actors. He was in EastEnders, DCI Irving, and Mr. Anderson. Holby City, yeah, he was in a lot of things. Coronation Street as Mr. Jordan. A lot of his roles, he's called Mr. something, Mr. Jordan. He's in Dark Knight as Loeb. Bill Derek, yeah, very busy actor, this guy. he looks the part. When you see the picture of him, he looks kind of like a cool dude. He looks like someone who who should be getting work. Been working since 1985. But there we go. I think I've waffled about the voice cast enough. Yeah, this mission I do struggle with. I think you have to drop bombs here, and then there's like two things going off at once, and it gets very, very annoying and very, very confusing. The more I talk, the less they're likely to copyright strike me. Which is actually probably why I do keep getting flagged up on the other ones, because I do know I don't talk that much while doing this. I always mention it a lot while playing it as well. I do kind of lament it a bit, where I'm like sorry guys, I can't play and talk at the same time. So I guess this video is a nice little diversion, I guess, where it's like I'm allowed to just kind of waffle willy-nilly without having to concentrate on piloting the ship. Some games I can do that with. I mean, you saw my Resident Evil Let's Plays. I kind of know them games quite well. I can't play them as well while talking, but I can play them pretty well and continue having a flow when I speak. Oh, mission accomplished. I did do this one. This must not be the one I got stuck on then. It must be the next one.
Congratulations, you took out the gang base.
I think. It's either the next one or there's some footage missing from the next part. Where I start from a retry and then don't do the briefing, so unless the briefing pops up here. Either way, it'll all come out in the wash, it's fine. There might be gaps here and there, but it's mostly there. I hope. Secondary objectives completed? None. But was there any to begin with? Yes, there were. All yard buildings must survive.
In the light of recent events, Krakow are demanding increased protection from G-Police. In fact, they are accusing us of chronic incompetence.
Now, does it end here, or do I jump to the next?
This is a very grave situation.
I think I do. I'm looking at the time. I think there was quite a few minutes left for me to jump in to the next one. We'll see. After I save. Okay, I've saved. Now let's continue. No, that's it. That's the end of that video. So, thank you very much, guys. In the next one, we will be back on track, and it'll be me talking while playing the game. So in theory, it's me. I'm talking now from the future, and the next video will be me in the past. But then, it's all in the past by the time it all goes out. So, I don't know. But thanks for putting up with me ramblings, guys, and I'll see you in the next vid.
Bulletins report the hijacking of a Krakow heavy land train, which is currently being driven towards the Dome exit tunnel. The train has definitely been loaded with explosives. It is suspected that the train will be detonated as it reaches the tunnel. The onboard nuclear power unit may well go critical and cause a dome fracture. This, of course, would be disastrous. You must locate the land train, remove the explosives, and destroy the tractor at the front of the train before it reaches its target, Ricardo will fly support, while Daniels provides top cover.